Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy,
Table.
I'm Red.
It is I, Shino Brando.
and for today we discuss a wondrous woman and a divisive squad in this connected universe. Thank you for joining us on our DCPU rewatch. This is part 2 of the series. If you'd like to join us at the beginning of the series, click the top right of your screen to find a playlist. Oh, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be notified when we upload new videos. And now, back to our show.
This movie aired August 5th, 2016. It was written and directed by the ever-divisive David Ayer. It stars Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, and a whole bunch more. It had a budget...
Jared Leto.
Does it star Jared Leto?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we get there.
It had a budget.
Go ahead.
It had a budget of $175 million, and it made in the box office $746.8 million.
I mean, okay, that's a profit, I guess.
It marketed.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean it not only made its money back for its cost of production, but also its cost of making the commercial and putting it on billboards and things like that.
They were actually able to afford Bohemian Rhapsody.
Freddie Mercury.
Okay, so we're
in his
here.
grave.
Listen, okay? They paid for this song. That song is in this movie. The Queen version. Then they decided to take that version, because now I guess they own licensing, then give it to whoever the fuck they gave it to, and get them to do a worse rendition of the best song ever made.
Listen, man, fuck this movie. This movie sucked, dude. This movie from the beginning sets you up with way too much stuff going down, and then it leads to a whole bunch of nothing.
Before we continue on that point, I believe the singer that did the cover of Bohemian Rhapsody, I think it might have been Brandon Urie for
Panic at the Disco.
Mr. Disco himself?
I think it should have
I
been.
believe you are right.
Yeah, but he's a good singer. He does his best, so I don't know.
I mean, his best isn't good enough, though. Listen, you have Adam Lambert. He's currently on tour with the rest of the surviving members of Queen. And if the surviving members of Queen go, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you have made the wrong decision. You already paid for the licensing. Why not just use that version?
Use the version that people like?
We could also just leave it alone and just say Freddie Mercury. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you could do that, but, apparently you've got $175 million to blow through.
Yeah, you could have made a better movie with that.
Could have made a movie that didn't hurt.
Yeah, actually, this movie hurt to watch.
Yeah.
The
best part of it, in credits, because it ended.
Oh, jeez.
Agreed. The pacing in this movie is buck fucking wild. It's all over the place.
Yes. Let's start from the get-go, right? So basically, it starts with Amanda Waller walking through whatever, right? We remember that Superman's dead, right? Because it forces us to remember that.
Which beautifully portrayed by Viola Davis, by the way.
Exactly. She's an amazing Amanda Waller. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Again, actors in this movie do their job. Right?
Yeah.
Just
most of them.
Not great. Yeah, exactly. So we start with Amanda Waller holding down a meeting, having a lunch, and we get a complete exposition of every member of the Suicide Squad for about 30 minutes, right?
Way too long.
Way too long. And we blow through a soundtrack within the 30 minutes, introducing all these people.
I also don't hate the soundtrack, but I don't like that it's one song, then we're back to the present, then another song, then back to the present, then another, and it's back to back to back to back for the next 35 fucking minutes.
Blowing out the entire soundtrack in one go. Crazy, man.
This is some amateur sound editing, amateur hour.
It all over the bar. This movie would work if it was the 90s. That's how it feels like that movie's kind of stuck in that time frame. It was made way later.
It kind of felt like when someone pitched the movie, they decided that the soundtrack was the most important part. So they went and got that made before they really had anything beyond the general idea of what they were doing.
Yeah.
So then they were like, oh shit, where do we put all these songs? So they just stuffed them in everywhere there was space.
Oh, yeah.
It is my personal belief that the scene with El Diablo and you get his horrible backstory, yeah, that's awful. But you know what was a driving force anyway, and you forced him to be there in the first place? Not how we got into the initial jail and why he's stuck there, but why he is forced to be a part of this team. Because he blew up the jail. I think his backstory is useless.
The only prominent members that you really cared about were only Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Everybody else was just there for the sake of being there.
Dressing.
Yeah, because
all it was.
Even rewatching it, it was the main emotional points was Deadshot and then Harley Quinn.
Whatever. You paid the $14 to see Jared Leto as Joker, and you never got it.
He turned
up sometimes in the background.
I promise you, all of his scenes together are less than 5 minutes. Now, actually
Yeah.
watching the film, as opposed to when we were generally discussing it in our Joker episode, link at the top. Yeah, no, that's 4.5 minutes. That's not 5. Because he comes in at the beginning, then he comes in for some sort of Harley rescue for some sort of reason. Motivation unclear. Then they show up at the end.
Did you know that 37% of you aren't subscribed to the channel on YouTube? You can help change that by hitting the subscribe button just below the video. And now back to the show.
So what's this movie about, really? Right? We have Amanda Waller building a team for the sake of taking on, for the sake of taking on something superhuman like Superman, if anything were to ever go nuts. But then you have a superhuman, like a metahuman on your team that goes super nuts. So the movie would have never have happened if you didn't let her go nuts.
Or, just if you weren't bullying her, but hey.
Enchantress is a waste of a character.
Very much so. And then to force her in a romance with Rick Flag was even more insulting, really.
Yes, but look, Enchantress isn't I am not overly emotionally invested in portrayals of Enchantress. I'm not gonna go, oh, they did her character so dirty, but they had her acting like a psychotic cat.
Yes.
That's how she came across, as a really fucking weird cat in a person's body that can also do witchcraft. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then they have Rick Flag, who's like this cold, this cold kind of like soldier who's got like this puppy dog thing for her now. So that completely just wipes his character down to it's a standard guy.
He's dude with gun.
Yeah, Rick Flag. The thing about Rick Flag, he's conflicted because he's supposed to do the job, but he's cold as shit. But he has a moral compass that he has to struggle with, right? Flag is just, I lost my girlfriend, and so what do I do?
Sad, big sad boy hours.
Back to his girlfriend, it very much appears that she's not a character, she's a monkey with the symbols.
Yes, yeah.
Do the trick. Teleport, cool, but character why?
Yeah, she doesn't do.
Once the Enchantress character isn't Junie Moon anymore, and when she's whatever. Close enough.
No, I heard Judy and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so once that character is the Enchantress or the hybrid between the two that her brother later puts together, I find that character much more interesting to at least see and look at than the Enchantress Jude Moon dynamic duo thing that we had going.
But that could have been interesting, except they didn't want to make it interesting. They didn't put any effort into making it not suck.
Nobody in that movie was fleshed out. Nobody. You got no growth from anyone. None. Maybe Will Smith, because at the end he's like, okay, I'm my daughter, but I still shoot people.
Yeah, that is the argument I will make.
That was his motivation at the beginning.
That's all you're there's no growth in this whole movie at all. Nobody, nothing. El Diablo dies.
Well, technically, El Diablo has this anime type growth, which is so stupid because you know what? They did the anime thing where it's just they showed his backstory near the closest ending of where he was gonna die. And it hurt because I was watching the scene. I was like, shit, I forgot this is where they show his scene, and it's gonna make this part where it's oh, we're gonna kill off this character soon. It's fuck off. There's
no impact. Do you know what it was? Do you want to know what that scene felt like to me? That was someone in the writer's room was okay, so someone has to die because high stakes or whatever. Who are we gonna kill? How about El Diablo? And then someone was okay, but they don't know anything about him yet. There's no way that's gonna happen.
Oh fuck, right, we don't know about him. Okay, let's switch that in.
We'll do it real quick.
You know what the only emotional thing was for him was that these are my new family, and then he powers up to his actual god look, which was the only actually interesting thing.
It looked neat. I was a fan.
Out of the holy fight, he turns into this actual spectral thing, and I was okay, this looks badass.
He's
wasted.
Yo, man, everybody it's just so he does nothing the entire movie. He's a background piece until we need him to blow up a mass horde of zombie things.
This is my new family they hadn't earned that.
No, they didn't.
Earn that.
They did nothing the entire movie to connect that way. Nothing.
It was forced.
That would be a great line, and that would be a hell of a way to go out if it made sense. It just didn't.
Also, I love how they gave Captain Boomerang nothing to do until like near the very end, where his boomerangs actually had a camera on them for some reason. How does that work on a fucking boomerang? It's a
Um,
boomerang. Spins.
Sticky
I would
tape.
like to express my eternal and undying hatred for Captain Boomerang.
God.
And the fact that he was just here for comic relief made me angry because I didn't get to watch him die.
And he wasn't even great comedy relief either.
No, he was just weird and skeevy, and I think he has fleas.
He does look. He just came right out of the trash, right? I
Also-
know.
Also,
Like
he
a
was a
raccoon
bit
man.
pervy, so like this man had a fetish for pink things, or as per se,
Pink
unicorns.
unicorn.
But that's
He wants to fuck the
that's
unicorn.
that's robbery. That's a Deadpool thing. All right, I'm calling that out, man.
Honestly, yeah.
I know. I noticed it. And I was like, wow, they really ripped us off.
I'm calling that out, man. There was nothing great about Captain Boomerang, and again, like they gave him something to do near the end with a camera on a boomerang, which makes no sense because your boomerang spins.
Okay.
So I'm
What's
not
your
sure how-
aerodynamics? Is
Yeah,
the
I
person
don't-
watching this gonna throw up?
it makes no sense. The whole squad just looks like they came right out of fucking Hot Topic.
Listen,
Oh,
okay?
no.
So all these characters that we've mentioned thus far, like, you know, kick around, they've got their own little plot things for better or for worse. At least they don't go out like a bitch like Slipknot.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
They
Yeah.
put him in the film explicitly just to explode.
Of course. I mean, he wasn't in promotional stuff, so you knew he was gonna die anyways.
I was
Yeah.
watching with my significant other, and they were like, hey, how come we only have backstories on a handful of characters? And I went, oh, you're new to
Don't worry
movies,
about it.
aren't you?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, he's just cannon fodder, man.
There's so many
He's
better
here so we know
characters.
the explosions are real.
There's so many better characters you could have pulled from, but Slipknot? Jesus
Well-
Christ. You could have
We need
Well, you-
actually
someone that
put
can
the
explode
band
and be
Slipknot
uncontroversial.
inside of that character, and it wouldn't have made a fucking difference. Actually,
man,
I think Table's expression of there's a plot thing where you could have a plant do the same thing and get to the same result. Pretty sure it's the same thing.
Yep,
Yeah, it's
sexy
just,
plant.
he was just there just to die. That was the
Yep.
only, just to show that the bomb in the neck is a real thing. That's all.
He was an explodable lamp.
You know the funny
Yeah, but
thing
wait.
is, the funny thing is though, like for discrepancy of like powers and all this stuff, the funniest shit to me was fucking Slipknots in discrepancy, and they were like able to climb anything, and I was like,
Cool. You're here to
Ties
die.
box.
you have Rick Flag and Deadshot who have basically marksman A1 like technique, right?
And
then
you
have-
brought parkour man?
And you brought the
Right.
equivalent of Spider Monkey? Like,
like
Like, why did you recruit him in the first place?
let alone recruiting. Let's just take out his abilities per se.
Hey,
Frick,
look,
man.
Listen, you recruited Captain Boomerang.
He throws
Yeah,
good.
but
Throws
he robbed a
boomerang.
bank at least. Slipknot didn't do anything.
exactly, like at least he was doing something for some
Why was
reason.
he not even in prison? I can't remember.
This man was quoted to be able to climb things with anything. Anything.
Cool, man.
Oh, shut up! I hate this movie.
Can
He
hang out
climbs
with Cat
exactly
Rock
one
Leaper.
wall and then gets bloated.
Yep.
Yes, cool. He was there just to die. But again, you have other members on that team who did absolutely fucking nothing the entire way through. Killer Croc.
I mean, shut up. He's beautiful. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, okay, so Killer Croc is the only reason this movie needs to be prefaced by saying Oscar award winning Suicide Squad. And you know what?
The only thing that made it for the category.
Exactly. While it's not bad, it looks fine. Like I believe that that's a, creature. Yeah, I guess when you win by default, you still win, I guess.
Whatever. That's. I was talking about this the other night, but that's bullshit because like if I can see a giant robot talk to Shia LaBeouf and make it look real, there's no reason why he should look like that.
That's true.
And
They only had cosplay money. Don't judge him.
You blew it on the budget. You blew the budget on the fucking soundtrack. I understand.
110%.
can we talk about the fact that Killer Croc was just dude sized?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he should have been like Gator plus dude size.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just a guy the size of a man
Yes.
who was
Yeah, at least like get someone Shakai at least, and then like
you know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of Lou Ferrigno from the old Hulk, like the old Hulk TV show. Was just average sized man painted green with wig
yeah.
Lou
Yeah.
Ferrigno,
Exactly
but
what
with
it's
sharp
like.
teeth.
But instead of wig, you got scales and sharp teeth.
and a suede jumpsuit for some reason.
Yeah, that was real ugly.
Everything was ugly. The
Listen.
whole thing is ugly. Nobody looked good.
But
Deadshot here
but
and
you forget
there.
Killer Croc called himself beautiful on the outside. Anyway,
Yeah, I
so.
know, but
No, that
everybody-
okay. So
Deadshot-
that's like the
Deadshot
one
is
time
not
I.
cosplay too, though, right? Like they all didn't look very good on screen, man.
Mm.
That's the one time I laughed in this movie when he said, "Nuh-uh, honey, I'm beautiful on the outside." Yeah, okay, okay.
You guys remember that Katana's in this movie?
No,
Katana, remember?
Unfortunately, I really, really wish she'd gotten,
anything to do.
Something to do.
anything
Yeah.
other than to like angst at her sword for 30 seconds
Yo.
and then disappear again. That was it. That's what she was in the movie to do. She didn't do anything.
Nothing.
She murdered a Yakuza member mostly.
Ooh, so did Ronin, little
And, like-
Hawkeye, right? Come on now.
Yeah.
So
We
did
talked
Harley,
about
and she's
how
got a big
fucking
hammer but doesn't talk to it.
That's right.
In theory, she's so cool. She has a sword that traps its victims, and she does fuck all.
In fact, I revoke what I said. The only person who really did look good on screen was Katana, and then they didn't use her enough.
I loved her mask.
Yeah, she looked cool. Everybody else, I don't know. Everything else was kind of like.
Oh,
to me.
Katana
what
looks
Loki
cool. Deadshot looks cool. That's it.
That
That
was
was fine.
okay for me. His costume could have been a little bit more.
mm.
It still looked very average to me. He looks cool on screen, but like it does nothing about his costume that pops, right?
That's fair.
It doesn't pop, but he looks cool. But like for me, just everyone on screen just looks very. Margot Robbie's costume is just
Fetish wear.
fetish, right? And
That's because the director wants to fuck Harley Quinn, and it sure fucking shows in
Yeah.
like what they did with her character.
I'm just
like-
letting you know, for executive producers, Jeff Johns and some other people of DC name, Zack Snyder was also on this list who allowed this uniform to come to play. So
ignoring
She's
that for a
wearing
hard
underwear.
second, her actual costume, I promise you, when she picks it up, it's actually made of like cheap Halloween material.
Oh yeah, that thing
yes.
is made of like spandex at best.
No, that thing's held together by spandex and hopes and dreams. Like,
that's
Mm.
at least with the coming James Gunn film, her costume looks more accurate and a lot better.
I think the only thing about her outfit or her look technically was more or less the hair.
The whole thing was bad, man. She had like Daddy Little Monster. The whole thing just looked like.
and her
it just
backstory, fucking shoot me while that's happening.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing was just fuck me wearing, dude. And I don't care for it.
And dude, her hair, don't get me wrong, it's kind of neat looking, but those are fuck me pigtails.
Pretty much, that's all it was.
Her origin with Jared Leto's Joker, fucking Christ. Like,
Fuck.
you could have done that in half the time and achieved the same result.
It wasn't the worst Harley origin I've ever seen.
They could have
But, like,
executed it a lot
because-
better though.
Yeah. And because they insisted that like that relationship actually meant something at this stage in the game, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Hmm.
No? Do you not
You-
understand the characters at all?
And you know what bothered me? They like flashback to her scenes, like Man of Steel, and it was just like it wasn't needed. That was the thing. Like they input it randomly, and I don't know why.
When she eventually, like, gets convinced or would you die for me kind of scene and she jumps into the vat acid, somebody explain to me why the acid is now red and blue.
You know what? That started bothering me too, because I was like, why? And then the purple came in with the mixture. I was like, okay, it's the mixture of red and blue, but is it because of Joker? I was like,
But it can't be.
Because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
I know.
Yeah,
but I was like,
because she
is
doesn't
the
have any
purple-
tattoos. She doesn't. Her hair's
Yeah.
not colored yet. Like, and it's red
She
and blue when she comes up for air.
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt
Also,
you really.
That
really
acid
bad.
looked like milk.
Mm.
I'll tell
She
you.
jumping into a vat of milk.
Yeah. See, I have a filthier mind than you, and that's not
Of
what it
course you
looked
do.
like to me.
Of course.
Red, PG-13.
That's where that thought is ending. I want you to know.
I just like for me their whole connection was just empty. Still, I didn't like any of it anyways.
No, a random dance scene for no intended purpose.
Nothing other than to kill Common, the rapper, to show off that hey, this is my girl and you can't touch her, but I'm gonna make you touch
Also,
her anyway.
because the director really wants to fuck Harley, so you
Yeah.
had Margot Robbie do that.
Yeah, the whole like it's just bad, man.
You know, funny thing is, I literally forgot Common was killed off that early because I thought in my mind for some reason I thought he was still the witch brother, or I guess the witch brothers thing for
Incubus.
Enchantress. Yeah, there you go. So I thought that he was still there, but I was like, oh no, They just shot his ass off early on.
Dude, man, that whole scene gives me the cringe, man. I hate that club scene so much. I hate it, man. The
It's
whole
someone's fucking fantasy.
the smiling tattoo on his hand, the whole just the whole thing was just cringe, man. I hated it. I was like, this is fucking stupid. And then his moment, like Lunette the clown.
Oh, you mean Knives Out?
Fuck, knives out, TVs out, guns out, fucking blenders out. The whole thing's out. Everything's on the floor, lined up in a circle, circled out around him. For some reason, what was it? What was it for?
Don't you ever want to just pose with all of the metal objects in your house?
what was the imagery? What was it supposed to be?
Like, fine, that's an interesting looking shot, I guess. But why did this happen?
Violence, his aura. Like, was it supposed to? Like, I don't get it. Like, the whole scene just made no sense to me.
These things can harm me, but they won't touch me. Like, oh, okay.
What is this? The Fault in Our Stars? Come on.
And his pose is like, this is 6:15 p.m. Pose this way, we make noon.
It's like you've lost control of your life. Look at your choices. Why have they led to you lying in a circle of knives, bro?
So, who else forgot in watching this movie that this movie ended with a cliffhanger?
Because they thought they were going to get a proper sequel. Fucking stupid.
I'm like, wait. Now knowing what I know now, and in the timeline that's established as of this current recording, yeah, no. Go fuck yourself. That movie can be 10 minutes shorter. It actually has an ending, and then they slammed it at the end. Everybody's back in their cages. They got their just desserts. Everything got what they... And then, hello? I thought it was over.
You remember the post-credits?
Unfortunately.
Oh, yep.
I understand why it's there. I'm okay with it there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remembered that sometimes at this point in time, like, Marvel had been around for a while and post-credit scenes had been a while and doing their thing.
Yeah.
If you had remembered to stay there, sweet. But if you didn't miss anything.
But they thought they were going to get something out of that, man. The whole universe didn't pan out, so like it just leaves you. It's just empty. It's an empty scene now.
The entire movie's an empty movie. Things just happen, I guess, because I wanted to put something on screen, and we are expected to turn up and watch.
Suicide Squad happens because happenstance.
I was gonna say on paper it looks decent if you don't, put everything together. Visually, it's just like.
So then, why did James Gunn probably get it right? Because it looks like it's gonna be correct now.
Because it's James Gunn.
I guess.
If it comes well, as we know from his work, it probably will be good.
Right.
So,
yeah, as of this recording, that movie's not out yet. Hello, future people that might be looking back at our timeline. However, this movie sucks so bad they had to redo it.
It's a sequel-ish, but a reboot of it at the same time.
Take two.
A spiritual successor.
Yeah.
Or as you would call it, a reboot.
But it's hard because it's not a full-on reboot because it still uses the same characters from
some of them,
right? But like it's not gonna be the same film, so yeah, we'll see where this goes. But I guess that brings us to the end of that one, right?
I believe so.
So where we place this one on the list of good to bad 1 to 10, right?
Fuck, it's got to be below BVS.
Yeah, this is getting a solid fucking 1, man.
Yeah,
it's
2 if you want to be generous.
I'm giving it honestly a 3.
You can't give it a 3. You can't give it a 3. Here's why
give
you
it
can't
a 2 because it's got an okay soundtrack.
Equal to BVS as a 3?
Like,
Here's why exactly. That's exactly why you can't give it a 3. BVS sits at is 3 out of 10.
3.
Man of Steel is 6 out of 10.
Hey, so that Squad is like that's a 1.
That
was someone's art project.
I'll give it a 2.
Onto the train, man. That's
Give it a 2 because the soundtrack is good, even if they use it poorly.
I have to give it a 2. That's like as best as I'm giving it. I can't give it a 1 because it wasn't like I said, on paper, technically wasn't shit, and most of it was decent leading up until they had their own problems.
I didn't like any fucking scene. The only scene that was kind of cool was Deadshot shooting all those fucking things as they're charging at them, and that was about it. Everything else was just.
Oh, you know what it's time to talk about? The fact that this movie played into so many stupid tropes, including zombie flick. It did the sky beam thing that every film that year was obligated to do in its climax.
It throws all of its POCs under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Except they cast a bunch of people, and then they just kind of put them in a corner and played with the other toys.
And again, with Deadshot, he just became POC with gun. It was just
And you also forget he became gun brothers with Rick Flag. So
So
you think I'm joking? You literally see it manifest
Oh
later
no!
on in the
Oh
movie.
yeah, I know. It's okay. I know. They rub guns together. I know. Man.
I saw it happen, and I was, oh, this is also why I hate this movie now. Because of freaking Martha Brothers first, and now Gun Brothers second.
This movie, man. That's a solid 2. We're settling on 2 then.
I'm pretty solid on 2.
Okay, 2 it is. I'll agree to 2.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go on to the next movie, an actual gem.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was released June 2nd, 2017. It was directed by the absolutely amazing Patty Jenkins. The story was by Zack Snyder, Alan Heinberg, and Jason Fuchs. Fuchs.
Pronounced Fuchs sometimes.
It has a budget of $135 million. It made $121.8 million at the box office.
Made money.
This movie has been in development, at least in pre-production, since 2009.
It's, you know what I mean? We've been waiting for something like this for a long time. So when it popped up, it was gonna make this cash no matter what.
Yeah, until Patty Jenkins joined the project, this movie was nowhere going to be anywhere near this. The fact that in this movie, the Amazons are more than one race, like the actors are more than one race, absolutely astonishing choice.
Yes.
Awesome. Every single Amazon in this movie either has something to do or is plot integral.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't need to be a Venn diagram in this movie.
Can we talk about how good the costumes are?
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
God.
They're practical outfits. They look great. They look fantastic. And
They
they look
look
like actual armor.
Yeah, everybody looked great on screen, man.
Mm-hmm.
Completely believable, right? Like, you know, when you make some set costumes, it just looks kind of like CW. Then you have some set costumes that make you believe like the society is real. Like the whole thing just felt real to me.
And it kept her aesthetic. It kept Wonder Woman's signature look without making it like, ooh, the sexy costume.
Yeah.
No, that was just what she wears.
Yeah, like she's not wearing a skirt for the sake of wearing a skirt. She's like, yeah, no, why do I want to wear pants? It's plus 30 the entire time.
And mobility, please?
Yeah, and it's built up like to look like actual Greek like armor. It just everything looked good.
And then when suddenly it's more practical to be not cold as fuck, she's wearing a big ass coat. And everything she wears when she goes and dresses like a regular civilian.
With a little derby and glasses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Gal Gadot makes this movie absolutely fucking sing.
I was gonna say I truly was in love with the interaction between her and Chris Pine. Two of them together.
So
yeah. The two of them together were like working off each other. It felt right. It felt real to me. Steve Trevor was a good boy. That's all I'm gonna say to that.
A good lad.
He was a good lad, man. He was a good boy. He stuck to his guns with her. He respected her all the way through. And you know, just their first chance meeting on the island and just trying to get to know each other just felt so right and just so real, man. I love the two of them together. I can't wait to see them in '84.
Well, you watch them fall in love and it feels like they actually did.
Yeah.
It's very impressive because frankly, a lot of the time, characters who are into Diana are into her because hot or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So their interactions when he's kind of in the Amazon bath and they have one or two dick jokes there. I'm like, I have seen this movie this is my third time watching this movie and I still laughed at that joke because A, I'm mentally 13, but B, they're still funny.
Yeah, very. For me, it's the boat ride as they're going towards England.
Yes,
and he's trying to set up a sleeping space for her, and she's just bugging him about like sleeping right beside her because like what's the harm, right? Like what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, and it was
he's trying to be a gentleman about the whole thing, but like she's just giving him pressure. She's like whatever he caves, but it's the whole rundown of that whole scene.
I think my favorite line in that boat scene is when she talks about that men are strictly for procreation.
Yeah.
And women are more for pleasure. I'm like, oh my god, she's a bisexual icon.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, come on that island, it only makes sense.
It makes 100% perfect sense, but like,
it only makes sense.
She's surrounded by women the entire time, and apparently she reads all 12 volumes of the Pleasures of the Flesh.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, so you smart. and you're gay.
I mean, if you really went in thinking on an island sometimes known as Paradise Island, you mean to tell me that she you know what I mean, on an island filled with women, and that and she didn't, that didn't go down, I would never be even believe you.
Like she didn't do anything? My guy.
I wouldn't believe you. I mean, come on, man. There's no way.
The representation in this movie, from like the multiracial Amazons to Chief, who is a Blackfoot demigod, holy crap. Like, this movie hits every nail on the head perfectly and doesn't beat you over the head with it. You don't know that he's a demigod unless you did like a little bit digging into what he says.
Research.
Yeah,
hard
into
research,
what he says when he first is introduced to Wonder Woman. Because they shake hands and he speaks Blackfoot to her and she replies back in English. She understood a language that barely anybody at that time speaks.
And remember that
barely anybody today speaks it.
They purposely left the scene without any subtitles.
Yeah, you had to go looking for that.
Yeah,
Masterful.
every other scene when they talk in a different language, there's subtitles. But when it comes to his, they purposely leave it out.
I'm so glad he's in this film.
Gotta do the research, man. Yeah, it's some serious stuff in that film. I love when she's trying to cross that. What was the front line they were trying to cross?
No man's land.
Get across, but like, thank you, yes, and she just crossed the fucking thing.
That scene is like, holy shit.
And imagery, man. Imagery. That's how you film a movie, man. Imagery.
Well, it's everything about that scene. The soundtrack, the visuals,
the slow motion,
the slow-mo, the thematic relevance of it. Because, they go, no one can do that. That's not something that happens. It's like you go up there and you'll die. And she goes,
no man has gone, no man can pass over there. No, he strictly says no man.
Yeah. And she's like, all right. But like, I'm gonna go do it, so be right back.
He's like, well, I'm not one of y'all. I'll be back. You stay here.
I get that you can't do it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
She looks at them, adjusts her shield, gets all ready to go, and looks at him and goes, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, so this is a ish you, not an ish me.
Yeah. Like,
this way?
Sounds like a you problem, but all right.
Yeah.
That way? I go this way? This way? Okay.
We gotta go there, and you're not moving. You know what? Let me take my shit. I'll be back, you mother.
The objective's over there, and you're waiting over here?
When it comes down to dispensing justice in this movie, she does not hold back, and I love everything that she does. When she puts when she puts a knee through that, when she puts a knee through that guy and she puts him through the brick wall, and then she goes for the sniper and she brings down the fucking clock. Yo, dude.
She throws a tank.
Man.
With ease. Like, it takes her a hot second to, like, get her bearings, and then she just yeets that shit.
Oh, God.
She does how do you lift this awkwardly shaped object? And once she's got it, she's got it.
Man, when she infiltrates that room with all the Nazis, she's like literally flipping and like sweet, like these dudes there's no chance for them at all, right?
Oh no.
And that guy tries to get her like that one last second, and she smiles at him and she just throws the knee into him and she breaks the wall with his body. I was like, yo, dude, you need to use this movie as a lesson to teach like how to do movies, man.
This is a masterpiece in filmmaking.
Yo, high key though, she can throw me a wall any day.
That's fine. That's fine.
Absolutely, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Listen, I'm usually
like that action scene itself was let alone beautiful, but like just like the way it was shot was like I was like, whoa.
Well, it feels epic. This movie feels huge. Everything that happens, like nothing gets downplayed. Like, oh yeah, she's got superpowers. Of course she can do that. No, it's holy shit, guys.
and the thing is
on a show, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, what made me happy about it was that they took what like her action scene from BVS when she was fighting Doomsday, and they expanded that by like 10 times more, and it was just like executed well, which I was happy about.
It's just disappointing in both Snyder flicks. Well, one Snyder flick and one Whedon flick where she gets downplayed a whole lot.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that film when we get to that film.
Yeah.
To go back to some of the supporting cast, Sammy, the person who also speaks multi-languages, his dick measuring contest with Diana on how fast they can switch languages. Man walked into a dick measuring contest with Wonder Woman and lost.
Yeah, he was not prepared. He was not prepared.
Got a bigger dick than Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Do you not see the big dick she was carrying around called fucking Godslayer, man?
Yeah, I saw when that sword got disintegrated.
It was a pretty sick sword, though.
And the disintegration like effect they use on the sword, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like to just destroy your like half-baked MacGuffin. Oh my god.
See, the thing is, so from what I hear from a lot of people is that they have a general problem with the final act, the third act, right? Say the third act's kind of wonky, kind of weak. I've watched this movie like fucking several times, and I've always been trying to figure out like what's weak about the third act, and I've never been able to find it.
I think some people, from what I know, like from what I've heard, I think some people were just like felt it weak, I guess, with the pacing of it, but I didn't really. I don't know. I think it was maybe pacing with it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Some people want to say like the I guess the Ares reveal was kind of like whatever, but for me
it
like,
was whatever.
Yeah, right. Like for me, it's just like that's comic books, man. I mean,
but I liked who ended up being Ares, because if it was the guy in charge of the German army, you'd been like, yeah, for sure. Like what?
It'd have been like, okay, but it's too on the nose, right? Like,
right.
That's too easy. Yeah.
So if you flip the script and make it so that Ares has been helping her the whole time and just sort of keeping an eye on her, I'm like, that's awesome.
Fine.
That's fine.
Also, Wonder Woman has been actively taking part in the war. Why would he be opposed to her doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're still doing his work.
Like, she's fine. She's allowed to do that. This is cool.
What
and that scene with the fire.
And I was surrounded by the final battle. Everything, I appreciate that movie for everything it is. I never found any issue with that at all. Pace wise, it's always been pretty good to me. So yeah, I can never see any weak points in this movie.
The only weak point, there's a couple weak points I can find actually. One is we're talking about the third act, so we'll stick there for right now. Is the fact that Ares kind of mentions that, oh, we're all like that, and this is all of humanity, and he kind of goes, well, we all, we're all Ares, and I'm like,
okay.
But if that line was gone, it's fine.
But I mean, that's generally what he says almost all the time, right? He feeds your hate to breed war. That's his thing.
I get it, but like, why?
It's a social commentary thing.
Yeah,
probably.
I guess. Yeah.
It's there, but like, why?
I mean, with him, it's a bit more obvious. I don't think you have to be vocal about it. So, okay. But I mean, they've made it vocal anyway. So
the other weird thing that I find is the villain of Dr. Poison. She's not the most
plot hole, right?
Yeah, she's not the most exciting villain we've seen thus far in this series.
Yeah,
I don't think there is a candidate for that. But
she was a secondary villain. No, she was just secondary. She wasn't supposed to be
arc,
Yeah, she was supposed to be major yet. I mean, I think in the end of it all, too. I mean, she just loses the part of her fucking mask, and then she just runs off. Right? We don't see anything else happen to her.
Yeah, technically, I believe she's still alive.
So yeah, so I guess she's open for sequels and such if they
if they felt like that, but highly doubtful. Yeah. But my main problem is we only kind of see her when the A-plot directly mentions her. And I get that that's a movie cutting trait, and that's a great way to just be like, oh, now what's Dr. Poison doing? Except for she's been doing things the whole time, and I would have liked her to have a little bit more. Okay, but I'm not upset with what we got. I just wanted more.
Fair enough.
I suppose. I mean, she was only really supposed to be a tool, right? She's just creating fucking poison.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really see her being any much more of a major force than just being, someone who works for the Nazi camp.
I understand. I understand her role. I just wanted more of it. That's all.
I guess.
We wanted more.
It'd have been nice to see her to get more of a cruel feel out of her, right? To see how I guess how evil she really is a bit more. So I can see that
when she interacts with Steve dressed as the German soldier or the German high command.
Yeah,
I really like that scene. I just wanted more
of it. Yeah, okay, I can agree to that.
This movie doesn't shy away from the horrors of war.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
I'm so glad that it doesn't.
Can I just say that freaking Steve's death?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. They could have done a big, long scene where they have to, talk it out, or he does something so, she can't stop him. But by having her not be able to actually hear during that scene...
Yeah.
That makes you just as desperate as Diana is, where you're trying to read his lips and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're like, wait, what? And she's just heartbreakingly sad about it, and because she doesn't quite get what's going on, but she gets the gist, and she's trying to stop him, and he's like, no.
He's got to do it. He's got to do it. And she's got her job. She's got to do hers, and hers is more important. So, damn you, Steve! Why are you such a good lad?
A good lad. I can't wait to see him with that stupid fanny pack.
I'm so glad he's coming back. I'm so glad he's coming back.
Oh, speaking of their interaction again, so it makes me reflect on when they had him assoed and they were trying to get the truth out of him, and he goes on about the horrors of like what World War II is. They literally later on when she's actually on the battlefield and she actually sees the horrors now, right? Like you can see the emotion running off her face now because she like she's just hearing it out of his mouth and like the horrors when she actually sees it now, right?
Yeah, she's actually witnessing of like what's going on.
No, and again, the two of them, again, their acting is superb, and like again, the two of them just believe each other, and you can see it run off of each other, man. And just so well done, so well done.
It's just really good.
I think that this is the best movie in the DCEU thus far that we've reviewed.
Period. I would never contest that.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt, especially the company it's keeping, the poor thing.
Fucking. But I think that's in its favor though. Like you could watch this and yeah, there's a beginning bit that shows her picture and then we get the actual lead in. This movie is told in a flashback, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But also, you can watch this movie singularly and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a picture she just has."
It's a Wonder Woman movie.
And we just continue on. It doesn't rely on the other movies, which is in its favor.
Yeah, it's a nice origin movie on its own,
yes.
Or even if connected, but either ways, it was executed well.
Yeah.
So now a rating.
Yeah, where do you guys want to place this one? We could be super biased and put it on a 10.
I was gonna say 9 or 10.
Absolutely. At lowest 8.
I am gonna be a biased boy because Diana's always queen in my house, so
damn right.
She gets 10. She gets 10. Period.
She deserves it.
I'm okay with a 9 or a 10, but yeah.
We should give it a 10 just because we know nothing else in this godforsaken series of ours is going to get that high.
I was going to say, I don't know what else to like put it as. Like,
so here's my contest, okay?
Oh,
so there is a movie in this series that I won't reveal now that I believe doesn't meet the standard of this movie. Absolutely, this movie blows it out of the fucking water. But that movie is competent in its own right.
I know,
and will also score very high. So with that in my head, I 100% agree that this is a 9.
I'm okay. I'm sticking to a 10. That's
yeah.
Well, also like this is what the DC extended universe can be when they do it right.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what they should be striving to do with every film. And not just because it made a shit ton of money, but because it was excellent use of its characters. It was excellent use of everything they put into it. And like the epitome, bro. The epitome of what these movies should be doing.
That's a 10, man. I'm sticking to it.
I think
I've been convinced for a 10. I'm on board for a 10.
That's a 10,
the
man.
gold standard.
Yeah, dude. Again, like I said, this is a movie that you should use as an example to make hero movies, let alone female hero movies. Should be it. This should be the standard.
You mean the Phil Jackson gold standard? Suicide Squad? What? Will Smith does mention it. Will Smith mentions it. Will Smith mentions it, and I heard it like at least twice. You can't even fight it. That's why I made it. When guys kept on mentioning it, I was like, "It's there." I
gotta take my heart meds, man.
Stop.
Anyway, Bista, if you please.
I will. Bringing that to our socials, which is our Twitter at Crusade Nerd, Instagram is Nerd Crusade, and we also upload every Wednesday to YouTube, and you can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through the Anchor.fm website or wherever podcasts are found by searching Nerd Crusade.
And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by...